Okay, so in this video, we shall be continuing with the methods that come under growth factor techniques to do the trip distribution process. And if you remember in the previous video, we had solved a problem based on Fratter's method, which was in page number 680 from the book written by Dr. L.R. Kadiari, named Traffic Engineering and Transportation Planning. So, in continuation to that problem, I would like to discuss with you some of the disadvantages of Fratter's method that we solved in the or that we tried using to solve a problem on trip distribution in the previous video. So the first disadvantage is that the procedure is laborious, and the drawbacks are similar to that of the growth factor models what we discussed in the previous cases, and unable to forecast you will be unable to forecast future trips of underdeveloped area, and same thing happens with the overdeveloped areas as well. So basically you will not be getting a realistic picture of how the distribution of trips would be in the future for these two extreme categories of underdeveloped and overdeveloped areas. On the other hand, it does not take into account the changes in accessibility in the study area. Now, what this means is, suppose in future there's a new mode of transport which is being introduced in the city, which is supposed to make a huge impact in the traffic volume. Under such circumstances, you will not be able to make the changes to do the predictions. So that accommodation of changes in your predictions will not be available in this kind of technique. Now let's move on to the next method, or the last technique, which comes under the growth factor methods of doing the trip distribution. So this is Furness method. It was basically developed by a person named K.P. Furness. He was a popular statistician and mathematician, which was framed to work on similar lines as the previous techniques have already worked upon. So basically it is iterative in nature. So what happens here is that it estimates the future trip originating and terminating in each zone, and this is based on the new growth factors that comes for each of these origins and destinations. Now what I'm trying to say here is, when you have a OD matrix given to you, you will be developing separate growth factors as in the previous case for origins, and separate growth factors for destinations, and corresponding to through these individual growth factors you will be trying to normalize the matrix. So you will understand much better when we start solving the problem, and after the problem is being discussed, that is there in page number 683 in Dr. L.R. Kadiani's textbook. So I'll just directly skip to the problem. So you would be given a matrix similar to like this, similar to this, in the examination, wherein you will be having the origin zones and then the destination zones. So as I had told you, every OD matrix will be having elements into it, and each one of these elements represents the number of trips happening between the zones. So there are four zones here: zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and zone 4. So these are the origin zones, and these are the destination zones. So in this particular case, again, the trips happening within the zone is also being included, unlike the previous technique what we discussed in the previous video. So within zone 1 there are 8 trips happening. From zone 1 to zone 2 there are 3 trips happening. From zone 1 to zone 3 there are 16 trips happening, and so on. Now when this kind of a matrix is being given, it is your job to include the additional columns and rows which are required to do the distribution process. For example, you need to add a column uh, named total present trips, and then the next column would be predicted future trips, that is the total predicted future trips, and then the corresponding origin growth factor. Similarly, you need to include additional rows, which is the total present trips, and then the predicted future trips, and then the destination growth factors. So these are the growth factors which I have been talking about. So you will be finding out the individual growth factors for destinations, and individual growth factors for origins. Okay, so once a matrix has been given to you, you will be taking the summation of all these elements of each one of these columns and rows, and that you will be writing in the first column and the first row. That is 8 plus 6 plus 10 plus 2 is 26, 3 plus 9 plus 8 plus 4 is 24, and so on. Similarly, 8 plus 3 plus 16 plus 15 is 42, and then 6 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5 is 28. So what you need to do is you need to do this calculation by yourself, and try to have a check. There might be some mistakes in what is being printed in this textbook. So you have to solve the problem by yourself and then have a check. I'm just telling you about what the contents need to be put in these respective columns and rows. Okay, so the total present trips for destinations and the total present trips for origins will be written as it is being shown. So if you try to sum up all these total present trips, you will get 124 with respect to the row. And then similarly, if you try to sum up all the contents in the column, again you will be getting the summation as 124. Now what this means is, even though the total number of trips are not matching individually for each one of these zones, the origin and destination, it has to be the same. The total number of origins and total number of destinations need to be the same, because the trip, whenever it starts, it has to end in any of these four zones. So that's why the summation will always remain same. Then these predicted future trips would be given to you in the problem or in the examination. So when the predicted future number of trips are being given, you will be able to find out the destination growth factors and origin growth factors. Now let me just tell you about the destination growth factors. So when the predicted future trips are being given in the problem, having a ratio of the predicted future trip and that of the total present trip, you will be getting these respective growth factors. For example, 39 divided by 26 is 1.5. Similarly, 24 divided by 24 is 1, and then 68 divided by 34 is 2, 120 divided by 40 is 3. So all these growth factors are corresponding to the destination zones. Similarly, you need to find out the growth factors for the origin zones. So the ratio of predicted future trips to total present trips will give you the origin growth factor. So these are the origin growth factors. So when you sum up all these predicted future, you will get to know that summation of all the predicted future trips for destinations and summation of all the predicted future trips for origin will be again same. Now our job here is to do the distribution in such a way that this 124 is brought close to 251. Okay, so these two must be same. So to uh, do this job, after finding out the respective growth factors, you need to initiate the iterative process. Now, iteration, as you already know, it's a repetitive process of doing the calculation such that you will have the required goal achieved over certain number of repetitions. Okay, so in the first repetition, you can take either the destination growth factor or the origin growth factor and start multiplying these respective growth factors with the matrix element. So in this problem, what the author has done is, the author has tried to take the destination growth factors uh, as for the first iteration. So what he has done is, he has multiplied each one of these uh, column elements with the respective growth factor. For example, 1.5 is multiplied by 8, and 1.5 is multiplied by 6, 1.5 is multiplied by 10, and similarly with 2. So 1.5, when it is multiplied with 8, you get the new, you need to redraw this matrix. Okay, so in the second step you will have to redraw this matrix having all these elements, origin zones and then destination zones. Okay, and you need to have this column, that is the total column, and the next column and next column, and these rows as well. Okay, so this is how you need to redraw the matrix and keep space for entering the contents. So the first content you will be entering here is 1.5 multiplied by 8 is 12. Similarly, 1.5 multiplied by 6 is 9, and so on. So every respective growth factors for each column will be multiplied with the corresponding matrix elements from the previous step. So after you have done all the calculations, you will be getting a new set of matrix elements. So these matrix elements, once it is been entered, you will, as I had told you, you will have to add a new column, which is the total column. Similarly, new row, which is the total column, total row, and then the next column would be the predicted trip total, which, as I had told you, will remain the same as it was given in the problem. So the predicted future trip will have to enter here, and then the new growth factor. These are the new origin growth factors. Okay. Along with this, you will include one more row, which is the predicted total row. And once all these elements are being found out, I start doing the summation of all these elements, and that summation is written here as 39. Summation of all these elements is 24. Summation of again all these elements is 68, and then similarly 120. Now if you have a closer look at this, the predicted future trips which were given for destinations will be the same as the calculated future trips after multiplying the elements with the obtained growth factors from the previous step. So these two are the same. So if you try to take the growth factor now, ratio of these two is 1. Ratio of again these two is 1. Again these two is 1, and for this also it would be 1. So you have tried to normalize the growth factors of the destination. But when you have done this, if you try to look into the uh, origin growth factors, it would look somewhat like this. So you can see here the predicted trip totals which would be given in the problem are 147, 42, 32, and then 30. But the summation of these elements, if you try to do, that is 12 plus 3 plus 32 plus 45, it is 92. So there's a huge difference between 92 and 147. So if you try to normalize the columns, then there will be a distinction in the rows. Okay, so 92 and 147, 49 and 42. So again, if you try to take the ratio between predicted trip total and the calculated trip total, you will get these numbers, and these are the new origin growth factors. So this was my second step. Once I have got the new origin growth factors, see, in the previous case also I have told you that our intention should be to achieve the growth factor as close as plus or minus 1. Okay, so our intention here is to bring all these growth factors close to 1, as it is being seen here. Ratio between these numbers are 1. So my intention now in the third step is to bring these growth factors close to 1. So in my next step, what I'll do is I'll be writing down all these growth factors. So I have got the growth factor for zone 1, origin growth factor for zone 1 as 1.6, origin growth factor for 2 is 0.86, zero point 0.6 and then 0.53 respectively for each of these zones. So in my next step, I would be recreating the table. So the table would look similar to this, similar to the previous table what we had drawn, wherein you have the origin zones and then the destination zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 and zone 4, and along with this you will have the total column, total row, and then predicted total trips for destination, this is for origin, and then the new destination growth factor. So all these new origin growth factors what we had got, these growth factors will now be multiplied with each one of these elements. Say for example, for the first row 1.6 is multiplied with 12, again 3 is multiplied with 1.6, 32 is multiplied with 1.6, 45 is multiplied with 1.6. So when you do that, you can start entering those contents here respectively. So what I'm trying to say is 12 multiplied by 1.6 is 19.2. I suppose you need to check by doing the calculation on your own. Similarly, 3 multiplied by 1.6 is obviously 4.8, and then 32 multiplied by 1.6 is 51.20 and so on. Okay, so when you do this, when you start multiplying the new origin growth factors with the elements, the new element matrix elements would look somewhat like this. Summation of all these in column 1 for zone 1, that is the summation of the destinations in zone 1 or for zone 1 is 37.53. Similarly, summation of all the trips for destination zone 2 is 19.46, and similarly 75.98 and then 118.38. Okay, similarly the origin trips and their summation you'll have to start entering here. So summation of all these total trips in the column or the origins and summation of all the destination would come close to 251.35. Now remember, I had told you that we are supposed to do the distribution in such a way that the calculated total future trips must match with the predicted total future trips that would be given in the problem or in the exam. So these are the total predicted future trips which was given in the problem in the initial stage. Even this was the same. So summation of these together is 251 itself. Now this is an indication that you are close to an iterative process where the distribution is happening in a effective way. So uh, so with this indication, you will be calculating the new growth factors for destination. For example, ratio of these two will give you the new destination growth factor. It is not been printed, you need to find it out. Similarly, ratio of these two will give you the new destination growth factor for destination 2, and ratio of these two will give you the new destination growth factor for zone 3, and then similarly for zone 4. Okay, so I think it has been misprinted. This 1.04 should have come here, and 1.23 should have come here, and 0.89 should have come here, and then 1.01 should have come here. Okay, so please correct this and try doing the calculation by yourself. So you can see that all these new growth factors again are close to 1, somewhere close to 1. So this is an indication that the distribution of trips which you have done, right, is being as close to that is being expected in the problem. So this is how the distribution process was initiated by Furness method by Mr. K.P. Furness, and the disadvantages and advantage, as I had told you, it is similar to the previous methods what we have discussed. So similar to the Prater's method, the results are very the calculation of the results are very complicated. It is laborious. It takes a lot of time, and uh, but compared to the previous methods, whatever we have discussed, wherein we had lot of calculation, the furnace method is slightly less tense in doing the calculation. Only thing is you need to find out the new growth factors, multiply with those elements in the matrix, and normalize the matrix. Okay, so that's how the things are. So that was about the last method of growth factor technique of doing the trig distribution process. Now we shall be discussing some of the disadvantages being observed in growth factor method. So the first disadvantage, this is again very important as far as all the contents that I have been teaching since day one to your class is important for exam, and this is equally important. So the disadvantage of growth factor method is being listed here. I have referred to different textbooks and then have listed down in this particular form. So the disadvantage of growth factor method is being listed as follows. The first one stating that the present trip distribution matrix is required to do the distribution process. That means that you need to have a large scale origin and destination studies or origin and destination surveys being carried out, and you need to have a huge data available with you to do the calculation. Now all these problems what we have solved, hardly we had 3 or 4 zones, but imagine what would be the case if you are having 190 zones and you have a matrix of size 190 by 190, right? It would be a very complicated situation. So under such circumstances you need to have a very large scale O&D studies being carried out in the region of study. Then the second disadvantage is that the errors in original data gets modified as and how you start doing the calculation. The third disadvantage is that none of the methods provide a measure of resistance to travel, and it remains constant. So in case if there's any issue with the travel not happening in the region or travel over happening in the region, you will not be able to measure those resistances or attractive forces while you are solving the problem. So it is basically mathematical in nature, and it doesn't give you the realistic picture of why it is actually showing those kind of results. Then it neglects the effect of changes in the travel pattern. So in case if there's any change in the travel pattern because of some reason, those kind of reasons are not being considered in the calculation. And at the end, these methods, that is the growth factor methods, whatever we have discussed till now, they are suitable only for small areas or small considerations, hardly 4 or 5 zones or maximum 10 zones. Depends on how capable we are to do the calculations, using which tool, and giving the distribution process, carrying out the distribution process. So these are some of the disadvantages. You can have your own list of disadvantages depending upon your own understanding. These are some of the common ones which is the expected. So this is the end of growth factor method of doing the trip distribution. Possibly in the next video I will be discussing with you about the synthetic methods of trip distribution.